price hike a few years ago. Said you were going to.
Hi guys, welcome back to Elder Scrolls Online.
Why?
The new class seems to be working out good so far.
Is responsible for that particular
Anniversary Jubilee.
refilling that, so I would refer you to the Department of Energy.
There's a new cake. I got the old one.
Now prioritizes the taxpayer as oil prices rise sharply. Prices
New
have jumped by about
rewards.
$15 just this year. Could go up.
When these polls, like the Wall Street Journal one, land in the White House and he's losing in all the battleground states.
No, he's not losing in all the battleground states. He's coming up.
Yeah, I think we'll start from the beginning.
Even or doing better. So, you know what? Once people start to focus in and they see their two
And we'll do this in sequential order. So I gotta go to Canarthy's Roost.
On CBS, pushing back on polls showing her husband trailing former President Trump. Karl Rove has been doing his own deep dive in all this. And Karl, good morning to you. We had a number of things to go over. All right, let's go ahead and put them up. Wall Street Journal. This was all the news this week in the Magnificent Seven, as I call them. Whoop, whoop, whoop. This is, there we go. Whoop, hang on. So as you see, Trump is ahead, screen right, in just about every state except for Wisconsin. We're on that poll day tie. What you see in it, Karl?
Well, not good news for Joe Biden, and rather than you can't solve a problem in politics until you at least acknowledge the problem. And the First Lady did not acknowledge the problem. She dismissed the Wall Street Journal poll, which is a pretty good poll, as no, we're ahead. No, you're not. In 6 of the 7 states, you're behind. In 2 of them, Biden is trailing by a better for her to have said, you know what?
Okay, I like that.
But we're going to win, and the reason we're going to win is as follows. Instead of dismissing, who are you going to believe? Your lion eyes or me? This, to me, speaks to a bigger problem inside Biden world. The president has a temper, and apparently his wife has a temper too, because here's this reporter lays this out, the moderator lays this out, and she immediately goes straight at him and says, no. Instead of being a little bit more
interesting.
And at least acknowledging that they
I like this one.
But put the emphasis on the solution. Instead of talking about the solution, we're talking about her denial. That ain't good.
I thought the columns on it were weird too. Like when you put the First Lady out, it's usually to raise money, get out the vote, that type of thing. And with her saying no, it's not. It's obviously it's a sure thing that he's going to win. Basically, it says we don't need your money, we don't need you to organize, we got this in the bag, don't worry about it. And in the meantime, you point out that in your piece today, the shifting Trump-Biden battleground said that Trump's events aren't drawing big protests this year, but Biden's are. How does that affect the campaign?
Well, it's not a good thing for the President of the United States to be having rallies or fundraising events or public addresses and be interrupted by protesters. And we don't know if this is going to continue between now and November, but it's not a good sign. And again, you don't see that at Trump rallies. You can understand why. But it is a problem for the President of the United States to have this. Now, nothing he can do about it except hope that it wears itself out, but it is an interesting commentary.
Okay, go back to this poll here, Wall Street Journal. Do you think it's a good poll or not? I wasn't sure from the tone. Good poll?
Yeah, no, I think it's an excellent poll, but let's be clear about this. This says that Joe Biden is losing in 6 of 7 states. Donald Trump is winning outside the margin of error in 2, and is ahead in 4
Okay,
more,
we'll do my champion
inside the
points.
margin of error. And doesn't get to 50%. There's bad news in here for both people. The bad news for Biden is he is trailing, and he is trailing, in North Carolina, which he lost last time around, in which Trump won, and he's tied in Wisconsin. But the other 5 are consequential. You should, it's not good to be behind in the other 5.
I get you. So here's what the poll shows, and then I want to drive at my question here. That comes directly from your column today, all right? Who's best to handle the economy? Trump. Immigration border? Trump. He's over 50% of both. Abortion, Biden, and then more physically, mentally fit, 48% Trump. This is the key line in your piece today in the Wall Street Journal, all right? I'm saving everybody
Critical.
a lot of time and hassle. Are you ready, Karl? More than any race and member, every candidate's conduct on each day of the campaign could influence the outcome profoundly. Every word there matters. Tell us why you wrote it.
Yeah. Well, because we're in a different election. I mean, people have doubts about both of these men. Biden is behind. Trump is ahead. Trump, you touched on the most important measure. Who's better able to handle the job of being president? By 48 to 28, I think it is. They say Trump. That's a real problem for Biden.
76.
But nobody has made the sale. And so how they conduct themselves is going to have a huge impact on the people who are still up for grabs. Nobody's above 50%. And so who does Trump pick as his vice presidential running mate? How does Biden handle himself each day on the trail? How does Trump handle himself on each day on the trail? How are the debates going? Are we going to have debates? And how do those play out? Because this could be the most consequential set of debates since we had one debate in 1980 that sealed the election for Ronald Reagan. And if we don't have debates, who gets blamed for it? But so, this is going to be something worth watching each and every day because it is so much in flux, and the little changes in the critical battleground states, which is the other point I made in my column, can have huge consequences for the outcome of the election. Think about it. Less than a 1% change in the turnout among Hispanics and young people in Arizona, and Biden's victory margin, poof, gone. 0.3% drop in black turnout in Georgia, and poof, Biden's victory there is gone. So this is going to be, knife's edge for the next, months until November.
All right, Carl, thank you so much for being with us.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Carl. All right, as Jason Kelsey, headed for the governor's mansion, that was today's Summer Celebrity News. So fans are speculating that former Philadelphia Eagles center could run for office. He's retired now. Well, the California former governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, had some advice and thinks he's got the chops to run.
The most important thing, number one, is name recognition. So, of course, he has that. But the second most important thing is you have to be passionate. I saw myself as the governor, and I was absolutely convinced I can do a better job than the politicians did.
How about that? Maybe you should have put that question to Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, exactly. Politicians will take all comers. See who it is. All right, get you to this now. President Biden asking a terrorist organization to show good faith. It's just the latest policy whiplash as conflict in the Middle East continues to escalate. Plus, the so-called worst mayor in America is being accused of sexual harassment, retaliation, embezzlement, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Hi, I'm William Devane. And these days we take a lot for granted. Used to be just having wood for the fire and a little food for your table was all you needed to feel secure. Not anymore. Now rising debt is chopping away at the value of our dollar, like this. And that troubles me, which is why I buy gold as often as I can. I buy my gold from Roslyn Capital because I trust them. Roslyn has the best customer service around. With all the money printed by shaky governments, protecting my purchasing power against the rising threat of inflation is more critical now than ever. Protect what you've worked hard for. Buy gold from Roslyn Capital.
Call now to get your free gold, silver, and IRA kits. For a limited time, Roslyn is offering up to $15,000 in free gold to qualifying new customers. Call 800-630-8900. That's 800-630-8900.
Men tell us when they use Just for Men to eliminate gray, there's a great before and after. Then there's the after. That boost you get when you look and feel your best. And that's why more men choose Just for Men.
There's nothing better than Subway Series footlong, except we add on an all-new footlong sidekick. We're talking a $2 footlong churro, $3 footlong pretzel, and a $5 footlong cookie. Every footlong deserves a perfect sidekick. Order one of your favorite Subway Series sub today.
Introducing Allison's Black Psoriasis. She thinks her flaky gray patches are all people see.
Otezla is the #1 prescribed pill to treat black psoriasis. Otezla can help you get clearer skin and reduce itching and flaking, with no routine blood tests required. Doctors have been prescribing Otezla for nearly a decade. Otezla is also approved to treat psoriatic arthritis. Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Serious allergic reactions can happen. Otezla may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Some people taking Otezla have depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur.
With clear skin, Girls' Day Out is a good day out. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla.
Are you or a loved one a military veteran that has been diagnosed with mesothelioma? Let our firm serve you with the same dedication you served your country.
Call 800-555-6793 or go to mesobook.com.
Childhood cancer it's hard, but St. Jude has gotten us through it. St. Jude is hope for every child diagnosed with cancer because the research is being shared all over the world.
There comes a time when you realize the kitchen you used to love is ready for a refresh. Let a Cabinets to Go design expert help you craft the look you want with quality products in today's designer styles and colors backed by a transferable lifetime warranty. Out with the old, in with the new. It's that easy. From design to install, we do it all. Plus, get 0% APR for a limited time. Visit cabinetstogo.com to schedule your free design consultation today. Cabinets to Go. Wow for less.
Can peace of mind fit into just 3 fruits and 3 veggie supplements? Yes. We start by sourcing the best fruit and vegetable ingredients. We ensure that all our produce meets our rigorous standards in order to give you the highest quality product possible. They are then washed, cut, and put through an advanced vacuum-cooled process that removes the water using pressure. We then take great care in grinding them into a fine powder. These powdered ingredients are then mixed and encapsulated, locking out air and moisture. The capsules are then bottled and shipped right to your door, so you can experience your own personal balance of nature success story.
I've looked at other supplements out there, and they don't have what Balance of Nature has.
Balance of Nature really was the game changer. I'm serious, it works.
It is a great product. Otherwise, it wouldn't be taken.
Get 35% off and $10 off any additional sets as a preferred customer by using discount code Fox News.
Now, ADT professionally installs Google Nest products.
Cool. You're all set.
Our assistant, we should go. When the most trusted name in home security adds the intelligence of Google, you have a home with no worries. Brought to you by ADT.
With so many choices on Booking.com, there are so many Tina Feys I could be. So I hired body doubles. Indoorsy Tina loves a deluxe suite. Ooh. Booking.com, Booking.yeah.
So now to a community looking for answers after reports of 150 cancer cases potentially tied to a university building at the NC State campus. Early testing found signs of contamination, but experts are saying that proving a direct link to cancer could be difficult. Jonathan Series in Atlanta with more on this. And what are you hearing there, Jonathan?
Oh, hi there, Bill. Well, the building is called Poe Hall. It was built in 1971, and it's been closed since November when NC State University discovered the presence of PCBs, the potentially carcinogenic chemicals were commonly used in construction materials and electrical systems in buildings of that era. A local TV station, WRAL, says it has received 152 reports of cancer cases in people who worked or studied in Poe Hall. In an online forum, university officials said they are investigating.
At this time, the university is not offering health testing or reimbursement for health testing related to Poe Hall because we're still in the evaluation phase of the building's environment.
A CDC spokesperson tells Fox News the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health is conducting a health hazard evaluation at North Carolina State University's Poe Hall. However, NIOSH does not provide details about ongoing evaluations. Public health officials have yet to declare any cancer clusters associated with this building, and while studies have shown the toxic effects of PCBs on animals, less is known about the risk to humans exposed to these chemicals at the levels you would find in older buildings like this.
Frankly, I think it's still pretty fuzzy, even after all these years, in terms of how much it would take to cause cancer in people if this ever really happens.
Well, experts say cancer clusters are also difficult to prove because the disease is so common. 40% of Americans will develop some type of cancer over the course of their lifetimes. Bill?
Let's hope not, right, Jonathan Sari? Thank you. We'll get a follow-up on that soon.
Governor Ron DeSantis is holding a press conference. He's talking about environmental protection with his secretary and, of course, the Seminole tribe leaders' super interest in that. And he has been, you notice that the Greens don't go after him too much. He's been good on the environment, in their opinion, just doing some common sensical things there in Florida. So Governor DeSantis with a live press conference right there, and we'll bring you news as it happens.
Why can't we get in our public building to have meetings? Why are meetings being canceled? Why can't we have transparency what's going on with our tax dollars?
Residents of a Chicago suburb are revolting against their mayor. Tiffany Henyard is the woman in charge of Dolton, Illinois. But allegations of corruption, assault, and even embezzlement are igniting calls for her resignation. A former employee suing Henyard for wrongful termination spoke to us about her ordeal last hour.
I was trying very hard to get paid, and I couldn't get anybody to respond to me, not to call, text, or email. And the pressure of not getting paid for so long actually had a very bad effect on me.
Co-anchor of Fox and Friends First, Carly Shimkus, and Fox News contributor Todd Russ are here. Here's some headlines about the mayor, Carly. ABC saying Tiffany Henyard vetoes investigation of herself amid corruption accusations. Dolton Bar sues, saying license not renewed because it didn't donate to the mayor. And narcissistic Democratic mayor accused by former assistant of putting makeup artists on town's payroll. So, not happy there in Illinois.
If I were Mayor Henyard's friend, I would say don't veto the resolution. Look into the investigation into your spending because that makes you look good. Just a little friendly advice, take it or leave it. But looking into her finances a little bit, she is not only the mayor of Dalton, she is also the county supervisor of Thornton Township.
We submit to your will and call forth the chains of cold.
They're performing a ritual,
preparing the way for a dark anchor.
Yeah, the average income in Dalton is opening rift to oblivion. So
It's
you
worse than
read
we
one of those
thought.
headlines there. One of the
Main
things
melt
accused
has
of
begun.
is
The portals reach from our side to theirs. That means there is a traitor.
Perhaps it was simply arrogance. I mean, if that's
Perhaps it was
true,
all
and
part of
she
his
has a
grand
lot of money,
scheme.
and a lot of her constituents,
know the
and
logic of a
residents
dated
sitting in the town
prince?
she serves,
Claims it fulfills
does
a
not.
prophecy
That
in those
is a
wretched
terrible thing.
scrolls.
She seems like she likes
Imagine
a lot
seeing
of
your
attention.
nemesis
She's getting
succeed
it
where
now.
you
She also
failed.
has gotten the
So she's saying that that's her side. She's saying she's got receipts to prove it.
When I have everything to clear my name, I don't have to explain myself to you, Bill. Look, this is what bothers me. Since she likes the group and the squad, they like the group, and they say black people this and black. This is what bothers me as a black man because this is our representation. I'm the first this, I'm the equity. This is another situation where a person of color gets in there, is supposed to do all this great, and they end up being super corrupt. We saw it in Chicago, we see it in New Orleans, we're just seeing it over and over again. And if you question them and you call them out, the first card they play is you're racist, you're coming after me. No, you're corrupt. The color of your skin is irrelevant. But they hide behind these walls. And it's starting to go back to the thing where every time I hear about a corrupt political or a government official, I'm like, oh, please don't let it be. Because we all get judged for that.
Yeah.
And you look at the representation right now, it's sad. And the fact that she vetoes her investigation should tell you all you need to know.
We'll wait and see how it turns out. We'll take us to
Well,
California.
so there's I want to know what you think about this. So there's a restaurant called Perch. It's in LA. I've never been, but apparently it's very famous, so it's a good place to go. They are adding a 4.5% security service charge to all guest checks for the cost of security personnel. And it says, as Perch is located on several levels on top of a building, it requires more security personnel than a restaurant on a ground floor. So some customers are saying, wait, why should we have to pay for this? But maybe there have been enough problems. The restaurant is like, we can't raise the prices of the food.
Yeah.
We have to tell people why.
So initially I was like, oh, this is a crime story, and maybe they do need security because of the crime crisis in California. And then I thought about it, and I was like, why 4.5%? Why are you charging people security based on how much they spend? Could it be a flat fee? Maybe, but like if you buy a huge dinner and a lot of wine, then you end up spending more for the security than the person that's just buying one glass of wine. So that doesn't seem to make sense to me.
I don't even need a question. I will make this make sense for you as a former bodyguard. Executive protection is expensive. You're on a friggin' rooftop in California right now where criminals have no fear to do whatever they want. You want a couple dudes like me on there, maybe even just to catch you before they throw you off or rob you. Crime has gotten to the point so bad where you can't, the police have been defunded, you call in 2 hours before they can even get there, if they can get there, or you get a couple monsters like me, and we're very good, but we're expensive.
Yeah.
And you will happily pay that 4%.
Make it flat
You
fee
need
for
security. But you need, no, they want real security, not $8 security. Executive protection's around, I charge like $400 an hour. So it's expensive, but to have someone carrying a concealed weapon to protect the, this is what you have to do now. And if you want to go out, you do it.
Pass it off to the customer.
Yeah.
In every single case.
You have to, because of this administration.
What's the charge, right? The runners for the New York Marathon, $750,000 because they run across the finish line. Have you been in a New York taxi cab lately?
No, I'm too tall. Don't represent the marathon.
Receipt from a short taxi lately. Look at all the damn charges that are on.
I would love to be in a taxi, but they're sizes. They're sizes. Taxis are sizes. And they don't make them for me. It's sizes, and I'm upset. Anybody else want to throw an envelope?
First names only. Tyrus, Carly.
Thank you. Male Dana.
The divide deepens between President Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel's war against Hamas. Illinois Democratic Congressman Brad Schneider is not writing off the Prime Minister just yet. He recently met with Netanyahu in Israel. After the Prime Minister canceled his Washington delegation, he will join us in a moment. Plus, a severe weather outbreak brings destruction to the nation's heartland. There's a big and mighty storm. We got some new videos from some of the hardest hit areas coming up right here.
This is my favorite. This one. This is gonna be ready. From design and products to removal and installation, Rebath is with you through every step of your remodel. Call or visit rebath.com for your free in-home design consultation.
Is there any way to get a better price on this?
Have you checked Single Care? Before I pick up a prescription at the pharmacy, I always check the Single Care price.
It's quick, easy, and totally free to use.
Single Care can literally beat my insurance copay. Go to singlecare.com and start saving today.
Jimmy was amazing. He was the best husband, my best friend, my soulmate, and the best father on this planet. He was incredible. He was made to help people. Jimmy's first rescue, I was at a restaurant in Salem, Virginia, and he saved a guy that was choking. So I think from then he knew he was supposed to do something big in the world. And one day he came home and said, I want to join the Navy. I was a little fearful, but I said, okay, if that's what you want to do. He was also the best crewman. He asked me, but he was incredible. So rescue swimmer is a naval air crewman. They are in the back of the helicopter and they save people. So his job was to make sure that if anybody ever went down, he was prepared and trained to immediately take action and to bring those people back home to their family. He was a hero. He lived his life to serve others. In 18 seconds, it took 18 seconds for the helicopter that he was in to land on the deck of the USS Abraham Lincoln and to go over the side. So in 18 seconds, my whole entire life crashed. When the command calls, you know that something bad has happened to your life. I did not know what I was going to do. There's such a big burden on you as now the sole provider, right, for your family. I have a little boy to raise. I can't work the hours that I worked before. What do you do? And I got a call from Tunnel to Towers, and they said, we're going to take care of your mortgage for Jimmy on Veterans Day. All right, you ready? It changed my life. It changed my son's life. They were the olive branch extended to me when I didn't even know that I needed it. It's given me an opportunity to continue to honor Jimmy and to serve his legacy the way that I wanted. It changed everything to be able to know that even though this terrible thing happened to you, that there are people in your corner and they're going to make sure that Jimmy's honored and remembered and his name will still be spoken, hopefully long after my days.
Join us in supporting our nation's heroes and their families now. It only takes $11 a month to make a positive impact.
I want to tell you about a really simple thing you can do for your heart. This is Super Beats, and I swear by it.
Super Beats is America's #1 doctor, pharmacist, and cardiologist recommended beet brand for heart health support with clinically studied grapeseed extract to help promote normal blood pressure nearly 2 times more effectively than diet and exercise alone.
So do something good for your heart and your energy. You'll love Super Beats.
Get a free month supply on all bundles at freesuperbeats.com. Use discount code FOX and get an extra 20% off.
Harris Faulkner puts America's news in focus.
We begin here demanding answers.
Don't miss the Faulkner Focus. Weekdays at 11 on Fox News Channel.
What's that?
Let me guess. I'm driving back home next for me.
Can I get on? What? I think you're a better driver when you're high. Think again. Smoking weed affects reactions on the concentration. Message from back Canada. Every time I was making recycling cups. When I found out about what the evaluating do, I was sitting inside the medical on the phone, talking to someone saying, I might as well be dead. 14 years ago. But it's made me that myself.
Time of year again.
Answer the question, ladies.
When the boys in blue,
Hell, don't move.
get a much earned
You should be more nice.
I was expecting
break.
Those people like shoot each other in the hand. You worried about me?
Fox Nation brings the heat back to the beach.
None of you guys are 21, right?
Cops Spring Break. New episode Friday on Fox Nation. The only place to watch new episodes of Cops. All part of Fox Justice. Sign up and get your first year of Fox Nation for $29.99. America is streaming.
So President Biden now sharpening his criticism of Israel as he faces pushback from both sides of the aisle over his response to the war in Gaza. A Democratic congressman out of northern Illinois, Brett Schneider, just returned home from a trip to Israel. He's my guest now. Sir, good morning to you. I know you had Benjamin Netanyahu. You had a meeting there. There's a lot to go over. You came home before this World Central Kitchen, these workers were hit. Is that correct?
That's correct. Thank you.
Yeah. Did Netanyahu give you a clear idea as to when these hostages in Gaza would come?
We met with the Prime Minister for about 90 minutes. There were 8 of us from across the country, and we made 3 points very clear to him. One was that we need to focus on bringing the hostages home. He did not have a specific time frame, but understood that it has to be a priority. Second is we need to get aid to the people living in Gaza. The humanitarian catastrophe is a threat, not just to the people living in Gaza, but to Israel as well, and Israel's prosecution of this war. And the third point ultimately is that there has to be a plan for a future where both Israelis and Palestinians can have hope for their children and find a way to live together in peace. And that future cannot include Hamas spreading over Gaza or threatening Israel.
Did you try to tell them how to do it?
No, what we talked about was that Hamas has to be defeated. There's no question about that. But how it's done, and done in a way that protects the civilians in the best way possible and secures a future is critical.
How would you address this significant split within the Democratic Party right now with how the president has positioned himself on this war?
Well, I think the president has shown moral clarity from the very beginning. He's embraced Israel's right to defend itself, to defeat Hamas, but he's also very clear that the civilians in Gaza, the civilians caught in the middle of a war, Israel didn't ask for this war, the civilians in Gaza didn't ask for this war. Hamas started this war on October 7th, but the civilians need to be taken care of as well. and that the way Israel prosecutes the war, ultimately getting to a place where they can rebuild Gaza so that Israel doesn't face the threat of another October 7th, is just as critical as defending itself at the current moment.
The hit on those workers from the World Central Kitchen really is stealing a lot of headlines these days. Israel has apologized for it, but we don't have a bottom line answer on the investigation where that leads.
No, this is a horrible tragedy. My heart goes out to the families of all 7 people who were killed. All of the, World Central Kitchen, all the volunteers are risking their lives to take care of people that, for the most part, they don't know these people. They just know that there's a tragedy unfolding, and they want to try to ease the suffering that's going on in Gaza, and I commend them for that. And it was a horrible tragedy that these folks, doing the best they could in a difficult situation, were killed. And I immediately called for Israel to do a comprehensive and transparent investigation so we know exactly what happened, that we can learn the lessons to make sure nothing like this ever happens again. But at the same time, we have to make sure that the aid continues to flow into all of Gaza, north and south.
Okay, sir, thank you for your time. Brett Schneider, freshly home from Israel. Thank you for being on today. Dan.
There's a heroic Florida deputy jumping into action, likely saving the life of her 4-legged partner. You're going to not believe this video, but you're going to believe them. They're joining us next.
Veteran homeowners, need cash but worried you can't get a home loan because of your credit? Here's great news. At New Day, we've been granted automatic authority by the VA to make our own loan approval decisions. In fact, if you've had credit challenges and missed a payment along the way, you're more than 5 times more likely to get approved for the New Day 100 VA cash out loan. No one knows veterans like New Day USA.
Call 1-855-510-4070.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Ensure with 27 vitamins and minerals, nutrients for immune health, and Ensure Complete with 30 grams of protein.
Hello, I'm former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee. A lot of times you can't control the amount of sleep that you're getting. If you can't fall asleep or you're tossing and turning all night, you can't get the sleep you need to stay healthy. I know, it's scary unless you use Relaxium Sleep. Relaxium Sleep is a product that's made from natural ingredients, and it usually works from the very first night you try it. It helps you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed, earning your body those quality hours of sleep that it desperately needs.
Join the hundreds of thousands of people who've experienced the relief and health benefits from getting a great night's sleep and get Relaxium Sleep.
First time I took Relaxium and I slept through the night, I go, wow, this worked for me. I could not believe it.
Relaxium Sleep is studied, tested, and designed by a neurologist to help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up refreshed.
Relaxium Sleep worked from the very first night I took it. I had more focus and mental clarity than I've had in years.
Relaxium is drug-free and not addictive, so you can take Relaxium every night and never worry about side effects. And the best part is, it can start working from the very first night.
When I take Relaxium Sleep, I sleep better than I have in years.
I wake up feeling like I've had the best night's sleep.
Stop being afraid and start sleeping your fears away with Relaxium Sleep. Your body and your mind will thank you.
Mike Huckabee is so confident that Relaxium will work for you, he's asked us to give away 1,000 bottles.
If you're not getting calm enough to go to sleep, take Relaxium Sleep. I promise you it'll work.
Get your risk-free bottle of Relaxium Sleep now. It's guaranteed to work or your money back. Visit TryRelaxium.com or call 800-898-9322. That's TryRelaxium.com or call 800-898-9322.
I'm Jonathan Lawson, here to tell you about life insurance through the Colonial Penn program. If you're age 50 to 85 and looking to buy life insurance on a fixed budget, remember the 3 Ps.
What are the 3 Ps?
The 3 Ps of life insurance on a fixed budget are price, price, and price. A price you can afford, a price that can't increase, and a price that fits your budget.
I'm 54.
What's my price?
You can get coverage for $9.95 a month.
I'm 65 and take medications. What's my price?
Also $9.95 a month.
I just turned 80. What's my price?
$9.95 a month for you too. If you're age 50 to 85, call now about the #1 most popular whole life insurance plan available through the Colonial Penn program. Options start at $9.95 a month. No medical exam, no health questions. Your acceptance is guaranteed. And this plan has a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, so your rate can never go up for any reason. So call now for free information, and you'll also get this free beneficiary plan. And it's yours free, just for calling. So call now for free information.
Call 1-800-700-2020 for your free information and your free gift. That's 1-800-700-2020. Don't wait. 1-800-700-2020. Call now.
CIDP disrupts.
CIDP derails.
Let's be honest. CIDP sucks.
But living with CIDP?
Doesn't have to.
When you sign up at shiningthroughcidp.com, you'll find inspiration and real patient stories.
Helpful tips, reliable information, and more.
CIDP can be tough.
But finding hope
just got a little easier.
Sign up at shiningthroughcidp.com.
Be heard, be hopeful, be you.
Jill Biden is in denial too. Both the president and the first lady now say all the new polling that shows Trump leading in most battleground states is just not true. She's defiant. She even says it's obvious her husband will win re-election. We'll get into it. Plus, the Biden border crisis from coast to coast. Illegal immigrant squatters now causing chaos in New York City as Texas installs additional razor wire to protect its citizens. Fox is getting an exclusive look at the operation in El Paso. Jason Chaffetz, Leo Terrell, the Faulkner Focus, top of the hour.
Thank you, Harris. See you in a couple of minutes. The only Ukraine-born lawmaker in Congress says she will vote no on the Senate's foreign aid bill that includes billions for Ukraine. She's a Republican. Victoria Spartz out of Indiana says there needs to be a better strategy for that spending. In a statement to the Wall Street Journal, she says this: I understand the importance of this battle and the implications if Russia's going to prevail, but I'm also not very naive. If we don't have proper oversight, we're not going to achieve our goals, end quote. So I guess if you can account for it, maybe you get a vote. But right now, she's a no.
She announced her retirement, then she announced she's not retiring, so we'll find out what happens in that district. But I want to get you to this story. It was a terrifying scene when a police canine jumped off from a bridge in Brevard County, Florida. The water 75 feet below, you see it right there. And that's when quick-thinking partner swung into action, pulling hard on the leash and reeling him to safety. And joining us now, we're so glad to have him, Florida Deputy Lauren Donaldson and her trusty canine partner, Zeppelin, who likes to give her a little kiss there as a thank you.
Yes.
Lauren, what was that like in the moment? If you could describe what was going through your mind.
So I kind of didn't have time to really react other than just kind of put my work in and go back to our training and, for circumstances and, just save my dog or, not save my dog. So here we are.
Yeah, hey, Lauren, 75 pounds, right, on one leash?
Yeah.
I mean, if he goes over, can you save him?
Well, I did. So he weighs 73 pounds, about 75 with his gear on, and then, the momentum of a 75-pound dog getting yanked on a 15-foot lead. Luckily I had a good hold on him, and I'm used to his rapid reactions, and I was able to pull him in.
And you're like, what, 115 pounds? Right.
And what was he going after? I know that these dogs like to work, and he had a lot of momentum behind him. So in his mind, what do you think he was doing?
So we train routinely in the field for obstacles that we encounter, whether it's a fence, a wall, going through things. So it's not abnormal for them to jump up and over and climb through things. It's all things that we train on regularly. And then we also compete in canine competitions where we actually jump hurdles and things like that. And just prior in the week on another call, we're tracking a suspect. After we apprehended the suspect, we were leaving and we actually had to climb over a concrete wall to get back to our vehicle, similar to this wall minus the rail on top. So I think it's mine because he just
able to conquer, and he was in the moment and just jumped.
I love it. I mean, Zeppelin, the name is so appropriate, right? Because you lifted Zeppelin out of the air. But you guys compete in this, what did you say, the hardest hitting canine category? What is that?
Yeah, so here in the Space Coast Canine competition that Cocoa Police Department puts on. And he has taken first place 2 years in a row for the hardest hitting dog, and then the first place this year as well, or last year for the fastest dog. So we have 3 trophies just like that one's in taking up space.
They're so important to law enforcement and for our safety, and for those of you that are canine officers that take care of them and train with them, and we're super grateful. How old is Zeppelin? How many more years will he be working?
He's super gray in the face, but he's about to be 6 in May. We try to get 7 to 8 years out of them. It really depends on the dog and the drive. And Malinois are kind of spunky, so sometimes they injure themselves. So I say any day with Malinois is a blessing.
Do you think he had any idea that you saved him?
with confidence. A straight face and a
no,
gleam in your eye.
He's still a
Well
good
done.
boy.
Yeah.
It is very good.
What is a Belgian? What is it?
Your sudden arrival,
The
it does
Belgian
not. You
Malinois,
should
kind of
not.
a cousin to the German
You should
Shepherd.
trust your
I was gonna say, it looks like a
That's what
German.
they use for the Secret
No
Service
one will stop.
as well. Very valuable dogs.
come
Thank you,
with
Lauren, and
us
we are
and
glad
do
that
what
he's
you can
safe
to
and you're
help us
safe,
recover.
and thank you for what you
In
do.
the
Nicely done.
process, grow your stature and wealth.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a good
Because
day.
you are
Beautiful
more
pictures
social,
too.
which
Check
is
out
useful.
Zeppelin
You
right there
can
on the
speak
beach
with
in
the
Florida.
locals.
He's
Assure
ready to go.
them
He's
we
like
are
ready to
not
work right now.
invaders or
Hey,
morons.
we're gonna go too.
Now,
Before
let
we
us
go,
try to
we
check
have
it
our story today for Falcon, Texas. Here we go now. First, he responded to a call about a runaway goat.
Commander
Officer
Curran,
used
the moment
French fries to lure
this
the goat out
recruit
of hiding.
survived the shipwreck.
I did not know
Glad
that.
you're up and
It
about
would
to
work for
quit.
me.
Once he got
I'm
under
in need
control,
of a
he responded to a
scout to
call
head to
about a wild
Shattered Shoals.
peacock in someone's yard.
Most of our fleet
That
found
was the
it
same
lost.
day on the
But we've had
job
few
in
survivors
state.
trickle
He's
in
probably
from that
thinking,
direction.
guys, what is going on here with my
We've
training?
captured a
Send
seagull
someone
for
else for the
spying
next
on the
one.
camp.
The New York Police
Those
Department's
pirates
thinking, can we
never
get that
travel
detail
alone.
for a day?
Find out if they're
Something
around
that's a little
Shattered
bit
Shoals, and if
lighter.
so,
Lauren's
what
great,
will
by
you
the
do?
way, huh?
Before you head
Terrific.
to
Well,
Shattered
yeah,
Shoals,
for
feel Phil.
yeah, somebody who chose law
just returned
enforcement
from
and chose to
exploring
work
a
with
nearby
canine. I mean, I think
temple.
that especially in the springtime,
That
I always
visit
think about
claims to know
young
something
people who
about
are deciding
everything. So he may
to go
have
to
insight
college,
on
to
Il ciel
not
is
go to
this
college, or maybe to change careers. And women in law enforcement, somebody like that, I think her being willingness to come out and speak so eloquently, so graciously, and be so brave and
This
courageous
recruit
and
wishes
strong.
to speak with you.
As Jessica Charlock would say, you
We'll
go,
have to
girl.
construct a special
Indeed.
room
We'll
for
see
the
you on the
Morning
5
Stone
later
when we
on
bring
today.
it
In the
back to the
meantime,
Major's
Paris Faulkner
Guild.
is next. Here she is.
I'm sorry.
Moving on to this Fox News alert, wave after wave of Biden border disasters now. From the Biden
Yes,
campaign,
the
president
Temple of the
doesn't
Morning
even talk about
Springs is
shutting
an
down
old
the border.
Khajiit ruin not
I'm
far
Harris
from
Faulkner.
here.
You are
We
in the Faulkner
excavated the
focus.
Morning
Let's
Stone
get
from
into
one of
that.
the chambers.
Biden's
As you can
campaign
see,
manager
its supply of
recently
water
told the
is
Washington
endless.
Post the president doesn't talk
pilots?
about shutting
In
down
an
the
ancient
border
Khajiit
and is
temple?
not advocating for
Preposterous.
shutting down the border.
All we
That's
saw
a
were the
quote.
undead
There's a
warriors that
problem with
overran
that,
our
though.
camp.
The president has already
I
said
have no idea.
this
Actually, I have
about the
12 ideas, but
Democrat-led
they're far
Senate
less
border
fascinating
bill.
than the Morning Stone.
His quote
Probably
here,
some sort of
"It would
ancient
give
curse.
me," meaning that
Usually is
bill,
with these things.
as president, a new emergency
Arrogant
authority to
sea
shut
elf
down the
pilots.
border.
To my
when it
recollection,
becomes
they aren't known to
overwhelmed.
raid Kanathi's roost.
And if given that
and they have a
authority,
thing
I
for
would
snakes.
use it the
But I'm
day
sure
I
we
signed the
both have
bill
more
into
important
law.
matters to attend.
And then he said
if
it
you'll
again.
Excuse me?
If that bill were the law today,
We
I'd
should
shut
speak
down the
privately
border right now and fix
before
it
you
quickly.
depart.
This
Let's
don't
meet by the
save
statues
lives.
north of town.
The minority reporter. It also gives me and any new president new emergency authority to temporarily shut down the border when the number of migrants at the border is overwhelming.
Did you hear what he just
See?
said?
You
Shutting
fit
down
in
the
and
border,
no one will stop
the
you
border
from
would
walking
save
away.
lives, meaning it's killing us now. And he
You
knows
see,
it.
he's most
No wonder
impressed
voters
with
in
the
Poland
newest
say
bomb.
they trust President
But the
Trump
undead are a
overwhelmingly
threat to all
over
of
Biden. Look at your
Kanathi's
screen.
roots.
Biden's all
If you
over the place.
You could
Not
search
sure he
the
knows
temple
what
of the
he's
Morning
doing,
Springs,
and if he did
determine
know,
how to
could he
contain
even
the
fix
dead
it all at this point?
Then the
The
locals should see
staggering
we came
numbers
here
could could be
ally,
behind
not
what you
conquer.
just saw expressed
Karen
in
has
those
told you
fields.
how the hurricane
Trump over
lashed
Biden by a
the
mile.
Marty's roots.
Nearly 7.5
Now the sea
million
vipers are kicking
illegals
at the border
coming
by
across the
ships.
border
Strange,
under
yes?
President Biden. That's
You
more
could
than
scout the
3
coast,
times
as
the
the
number
Kumar
under
said.
former
Prove
President
yourself
Trump.
to the soldiers.
It makes history.
Oh, there's far less
Period.
glamorous work to be
Jason
done.
Chaffetz in Focus coming
At
up.
the
First to
northern
Fox
end of the
News
island.
correspondent Matt
Let's meet
Finn,
up there
live at
after
the border
you've
in El
done what you
Paso
decide
with
to
the
do.
Texas military.
Until then,
And you have
bright
for us now
moves
an
lie you
exclusive
steps.
look at what they're doing now.
Good morning, Harris. And just for reference, we're only a few steps away from the border wall here in El Paso. And what's happening right now is we have access to this area with the Texas Military Department as they are installing this additional barrier here in front of our wall. So if a migrant were to even try to approach the wall now, they'd first have to get through all of this concertina wire and all of this anti-climb barrier fencing. And over the past couple of days, we have seen this barrier working. We have seen migrants, who traditionally may have just crossed the Rio Grande River and approached our wall, have to walk all along this concertina wire, and that's the goal of this, to direct migrants towards the legal points of entry. And new aerial drone video shows just the scope of Governor Abbott's barrier wall here. The Texas military tells us it's installed more than 122 miles of wire all across the state under Operation Lone Star. Here in El Paso, this sector averages about 1,000 migrants per day, and the majority are coming from Venezuela and Mexico. And Texas Governor Greg Abbott tells us there's also, on any given day, hundreds of known gotaways here in this sector, and those are the migrants who intentionally do not surrender.
You talked about the gotaways. Well, the terrorists will pay extra not to be caught. What that means is the number that we've caught, which is extraordinary, there's far more than that who've gotten across the border.
The shrine and finish what I did not. Heed my words. The forbidden knowledge within the curse upon which tongue is designed to feed souls to oblivion. But if you are able
All
to
right,
resist
Matt,
their
thank you very much. I think we lost his signal there. He was trying to reconnect, but we got the gist of it, and we heard from the governor there, so we know what's going on. A new column with the headline, "Disorder on the border remains a problem for Biden's Democrats." And an editorial board piece. Biden thinks he has the border crisis solved. As I just showed you, I don't think he does think that. He's all over the road. It argues media coverage of the crisis has waned, and illegal crossings fell in January as always. Biden has reportedly abandoned all plans to restore order. He is no longer feeling political pressure to improve border security. The Democratic officials across the nation burdened with the border crisis he created don't have that luxury. Jason Chaffetz, Fox News contributor, former Republican congressman of Utah, and former chair of the House Oversight Committee. So look, I don't think it's like breaking news that the liberal media are backing off this a bit. I remember when they leaned in, went down to the border, did all the things. But Texas did something smart, and they're adding additional razor wire now. They leaned in against the cartels and made things better. The federal government didn't do that, and so now I guess the liberal media figure, well, we can just sit down and be quiet because the president has other problems, like the polling. Jason?
Well, the border problem is all of our problem. It's not just Texas's problem. And thank goodness for Texas, because they're doing everything they can. But in Arizona, you have a Democratic governor, and you have Gavin Newsom in California. So people are pouring across. This is by the millions. And how many days in a row do we have to wake up and hear these horror stories about crime and all these other problems that are happening across the country? This is done on purpose. Biden told us for 3 years that the border was safe and secure. It obviously wasn't. Next week, the articles of impeachment are going to show up on Alejandro Mayorkas, and they're going to try to dismiss this as quickly as possible. But Biden is not doing his fundamental job to protect the United States of America.
The Biden campaign appears to be offended, Jason, by former President Trump calling the illegal immigrant accused of killing Laken Riley an animal. Well, okay. Critics ripping them for selective editing. You know why? Because it didn't happen the way that the Dems say it did. Here's a clip that Team Biden posted from Trump's speech in Michigan this week. Now watch.
Democrats say, please don't call them animals. They're humans. I said, no, they're not humans. They're not humans. They're animals.
You got that right. Here's what he actually said. Trump's words actually said this. Watch.
The 22-year-old nursing student in Georgia who was barbarically murdered by an illegal alien animal. The Democrats say, please don't call them animals. They're humans. I said, no, they're not humans. They're not humans. They're animals.
First of all, how in the world did they edit all those words together to even put something like what they had? That's amazing. I started in editing as a journalist. I'm pretty good at it. What are they using? AI? Congressman Byron Donalds fired back, calling it fake news alert. Note, they have nothing to run on, so they lie. This reeks of desperation. Podcaster Tim Young posted, crazy how the Biden campaign account can push lies like this all day and never be fact-checked. Oh yeah, they can. We're doing it. Jason?
I think America is hopefully waking up to this. You know, in 2022, CBS News actually put out a headline saying there were 385 people that died crossing the border. Now, how come that story doesn't continue to run? Because it's not as if those numbers have plummeted down to zero. And that is a bloodbath. When are they actually going to take responsibility? We have the #1 killer of youth in America by about a tune of 100,000 people are dying from fentanyl. Where do you think that comes? You have Border Patrol telling us that nearly 100% of the women trafficked across the border are raped. Now, they can go out and try to put a word spin on it and say it's not a bloodbath and try to tone it down and say it's not really bad. But why don't you talk to some of those victims? They shouldn't be that hard to find because they're out there by the hundreds of thousands. And when people die on the border, die from fentanyl, get murdered by people that are here illegally, they just say, oh, it's okay, everything's fine. That is so offensive.
And then they have a complicit liberal media that shore that up because you don't see the facts over there. So it looks like everything's fine. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo called out President Biden over his phone call with President Xi Jinping yesterday. He took issue with Biden failing to bring up the enormous amount of Chinese nationals who've been apprehended at our southern border. Watch this.
You talked about these illegal immigrants. It doesn't sound like he made a single statement about them coming across our southern border. There's no chance, Lord, that this is accidental, that these folks are actually seeking asylum. The Chinese Communist Party has enormous control of who gets to leave their country, and so there's something afoot here when we now have more having come across the border in the last 2 years than the previous decade combined.
And it's not just our southern border. People from China are also increasingly getting caught trying to sneak into Guam. We call them illegal border crosses. Yes, they're trying to sneak in a U.S. territory that is home to military bases where 20,000 U.S. troops are stationed, Guam. They have reportedly been 118 unlawful or attempted entries by Chinese citizens since 2022. Here's Senator Joni Ernst to the Daily Mail.
We're so concerned about what China is doing and how they continue to exploit the United States of America. They have found a loophole where they do not need visas. We feel that by having that access...
Okay, guys. Take a break and we'll continue next time, alright? Peace out.
...in Guam and then use that against us. So we're really pressing the Department of State to look into this and trying to close those loopholes.
Jason, it is mind-boggling how the Biden border crisis is mushrooming